Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan Thrall, and I'm going to show you that you can get a good workout, even if you train at a meme gym. Here I am, not at Untamed Strength Gym. I am at the infamous Planet Fitness. Don't ask me how I got here. I've done 2 strongman competitions this year. In January, I did the LA Fit Expo, and I just finished with California's Strongest Man 2023. I do not plan to do any more competitions for the rest of the year. There were a couple of big competitions that I was looking at, but the scheduling, the dates do not work with my scheduling. So even if I wanted to do those competitions, I simply cannot. So the goal is to take the rest of this year to actually try and build some muscle. Conveniently, this has come at the same time, or coincidentally, this has come at the same time that I've been really enjoying Natural Hypertrophy's YouTube videos. He's been making videos for a long time, but I only recently started watching them more and more. And I'm excited to take a lot of the stuff he talks about on his YouTube channel and implement it into my own training. Specifically, or more recently, his last 2 videos, where he critiques other lifters' programs, physique, training ideas, and methodology. And I'm looking forward to putting some of that stuff into my own training. And if I was to take, I say the rest of this year, but even 1 year of focusing on hypertrophy alone is really not that much when we look at the big picture, or we think of how long it takes to build a substantial amount of muscle mass. I think it's funny when powerlifting programs or strongman programs, we put in these hypertrophy blocks, which is like 4 weeks long, maybe 6 weeks long, maybe 8 weeks. And who are we kidding? We're not actually putting on any noticeable muscle mass in that short time period. We might, diet hard and lose some body fat and look more muscular at the end of that. You might gain a couple of grams of muscle if we look at it in a laboratory setting under a microscope. But again, you're not putting on slabs of muscle in 4 to 6 weeks. It takes a long time. So I'm looking forward to implementing a lot of the stuff that Natural Hypertrophy is talking about on his channel into my own training. So here we have front squats on a Smith machine. So what I've been doing since California's Strongest Man is full body days, upper body and lower body each day. And each day we'll kind of have a little more emphasis on upper body or lower body. This workout in particular was kind of split in half, upper and lower. But I'm doing 5 sets of 5 reps on Smith machine squats.
You're weak, Alan. You're soft. Your upper body's nothing. You're too skinny.
And then I moved on to behind the neck presses. I did this from a kneeling position because it feels more like a standing overhead press. The main reason was I didn't want to drag a bench over there and do it seated. So if you're limited, also if you're doing overhead press in a basement or your ceiling does not allow you to do a standing overhead press, doing kneeling works just as well. 5 sets of 5 for these again, and I supersetted with weighted pull-ups. These pull-ups were not very heavy because the bar is very slick. So this whole workout was very taxing on my grip. So it's an added forearm day, if you will. This specific superset you're looking at, the behind the neck presses and the weighted pull-ups, was inspired by or really copied by Air Soviac. Please rate my French. The Natural Hypertrophy talks about in his last video. And these supersets I was doing front squats with hanging leg raises, are what Natural Hypertrophy likes to call free volume. It's also a great way to condense your workout and save some time.
I call these greaseball pull-ups.
So rather than sitting around on my phone for 5 minutes in between sets, I can superset movements that don't really impact each other, meaning the secondary movement is not taking a lot away from the primary movement, and vice versa. So here I did a banded pull-up for one of my sets because the Planet Fitness worker was just way too efficient and he was doing his job too well. He had snatched up my dumbbell that I left there, so I found this band and did some weighted pull-ups. Some banded pull-ups. Same concept as a weighted pull-up.
Where's John Meade? They're playing Eminem. Sounds like Kids Bop version of Eminem.
Alan is lifting his weights, wearing extremely short shorts and drinking out of a half-gallon canteen. What a hunk. My next superset was split squats, which I really enjoyed doing in a Smith machine because I could place my feet in the right position and then go from there. I didn't have to unrack the bar and walk back and kind of fiddle around with my foot placement. For the front squats, I did notice that unracking the bar, my feet maybe each set were a little too far forward, a little too far back. The bar couldn't move freely, obviously, so that was kind of a challenge. Nothing that I focused too much on, but just something that I definitely noticed. The split squats were supersetted with Dumbbell Romanian Deadlifts. back to forearm day or grip day. The limiting factor here was my grip. I could only do so many of these before I felt like the dumbbells were going to fall out of my hands. So if I really wanted to take my hamstrings closer to failure, I would have used lifting straps. Not a big deal. I guess I'm just getting my forearms more and more jacked by doing these. You'll notice when I do these Romanian deadlifts, I'm not trying to stick my butt out and stick my chest out. I'm not trying to really stretch the hamstrings. I kind of think of this more as a back workout. I'm trying to round my back over a little bit more than I normally would with a traditional deadlift. I'm trying to build some resiliency in that round back position, because in strongman you tend to pick things up in a precarious position. Finishing off, I did 3 rounds, a giant set. Push-ups to near max. I would say each set of the 3 sets was RPE 7 to probably 10. And then I supersetted that with bent over dumbbell rows, which as you'll see is a lot of hamstrings and lower back, so it is a back movement. But the row is also some biceps, definitely a lot of grip. My grip was shot at this point, but my mid and lower lats, my mid back and lower lats are actually pretty sore a day later. This kind of simulates a T-bar row, but with a pair of dumbbells. This was pretty cool. I got asked a few questions about leg training. I think people were just checking out my legs. But they had asked what top 3 leg exercises were, and then how to do a Romanian deadlift. They feel like it's they just feel it in their back. How do they get more hamstring engagement? And then here I'm talking about squat depth. So mainly telling them to take a comfortable stance that allows them to go through a normal range of motion, not too narrow, not too wide. So it was really cool to be asked those questions in just a random commercial gym. That's it. Thanks for watching, and always remember, trend on time.